This next owl that I have, guys, is our most common owl. This is a barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D. The reason I'm spelling it is because it's so easily confused with a barn owl, B-A-R-N. The barn owls are a different owl. They're a little bit smaller. They have a little white heart-shaped face. They're not very common in the deep woods like we have here in the Appalachian Mountains. The barn, B-A-R-N owls are more in the flat country. This is a barred owl, and the way he gets his name, if you'll notice the feathers that's right underneath him here are vertical. I'm right out of the crowd and him trying to bite me. And these feathers that are right underneath his chest here, I'll point to him right like that. It makes him have a horizontal bar across him. That's still not the easiest way. The easiest way for you guys to recognize a barred owl, he is the only owl that has a solid color eye. He has a solid brown eye. And now he's looking at the ground. Boy, he is giving me a hard time today. Yes. But if you'll notice, he has the solid color eyes. The other owls all have a little yellow in them. And the barred owl is real easy to recognize. He doesn't have any tufts on top of his head. This guy, he's a meat eater as well. He's just like Bailey. And this is the guy that says to who cooks for you all. He makes 7 different sounds, I read, from their mating calls to distress calls to right on that. Yes? Can we hear one of the sounds? I don't know. Sometimes he hollers and sometimes he doesn't. But he is the one that we hear out the edge of the night doing the who cooks for you. Very common owl. There's one of these in every holler in eastern Kentucky and southwestern Virginia. These are really common owls. They're our medium-sized owl that we have. I read one time about, we're talking about their roles and stuff in the environment, how bats are, eat so many pounds of mosquitoes every night. One family of barred owls, usually they have 3 owlets. Through the summer months while they're raising their young, just through the summer months alone, one family of these guys will eat over 1,000 mice. So if we don't have these guys out there, if we're not protecting them, if we're not taking care of them, those mice are eventually going to end up in our houses and their schools. So these guys are a very important part of our environment.
Once they fledge or kick the little owlets out of the nest, do Mama and Papa stay together? Do they mate for life?
Yes, these animals mate for life. There's a real neat story about a red-tailed hawk in New York City. It's on the internet, Pale Male. And he had actually had his first mate. And she got hit, I think it was, with a taxi cab or something. And while she was gone in the rehab facility, he picked him another mate. When the first one come back out of the rehab facility, they said that the male and his first wife ran off the new bride. So these guys do mate for life. Owls sometimes do have 2 clutches a year. Sometimes they will try a real early one and a late one. If they can get 3 off in a clutch, that's usually pretty good.
Do they use the same nest over and over every year as long as it's not been destroyed?
As long as it's not been destroyed. A lot of times they do hang right around the same area. These animals are migratory birds. However, when a mate and a pair of them finds them an area that will supply them through the winter, they will set up housekeeping. A lot of times, they'll only use the nest during breeding time, and they will rob nests. They will rob squirrels' nests and stuff like that. Yeah. I've got one other bird that I'd like to show, but I'm actually going to have a little help with it. This next owl that we've had, he's been to several programs. There's been a couple times that we have had some incidences where he got loose and was very aggressive. So I'm going to ask, you care to come up here and help me hold this box for just a second?
What am I doing now?
I hope you're saving us both, is what I'm hoping. Okay, this guy's a little rough. He don't like coming out of this box too good. So if you will, you hold that box down real hard. And then once I get a hold of him here, easy. Oh, whoa. Okay. Oh, okay, take off. Run back to hurry. Thank you so much. Didn't think we was going to get him out there. Appreciate that. All right, guys, we're looking now at an eastern screech owl. This will be the smallest owl that you guys will see here in central Appalachia. These guys come in two colors. They come in red and gray. Yes.
Can I keep him?
No, you can't keep him. Now, first thing when I brought him out, everybody, ooh, everybody thought he was a cute little baby owl, didn't we? This guy is as big as he's going to get. He's a mature bird. He has a supercilium, just like Bailey. He has talons. He has the facial disc. He has two colors of camouflage. He eats live animals. This guy is a wild animal. He's no baby. He's out there surviving just like Dexter and the other guys are. These are very common in this area. What is unique about them is the way that they roost in the nighttime. The first time we got one in, I'd read about them that they roost leaning sideways to make them represent like an old snag sticking off of a tree when they're standing up on the roost. First night we got one, first thing I had to do was go in there and watch them. And every night you ought to watch these guys. I've even seen them lean two at a time together. So it's just another feature and a little characteristic that these guys have. This guy was hit by a car as well, and he's actually lost one of his eyes. Now he can fly pretty good. There's nothing really wrong with his wings, but once they lose that little edge that they need to survive out into the wild, we really can't release him. He might survive, he might could not, but when he's lost that eye, he's lost a lot of that depth perception that he needs to fly strong at these animals. This is an eastern screech owl, and they're called screech owls, the noise they make. These things sound like an old screen door that needs greasing. It goes something like that, real loud. I'm not the best owl impersonator, but these are sounds that if you're out the edge of the woods, guys, you'll hear them. Owls are predators that we need in our environment, as I explained earlier. You guys have any other questions about these guys?
What's wrong with the other owl that you had out?
The barred owl, he actually had lost a wing. We love feed. I like feeding them squirrels better than anything. Squirrels are the best. We tell all of our hunters around there in Letcher County, we take all their squirrels and rabbits, and usually through November to March, I don't feed them anything but squirrels and rabbits. The rest of the time, they get whatever's on sale at Food City. This little guy now out in the wild, he's a grasshopper, worms, maybe small mice. These guys can't attack squirrels and rabbits, and we see by their size. The big horned owl there, I have seen game cameras of him picking up full-grown possums. So I would say any house cat or dog is fair game to the big horned owl. My grandfather used to shoot them on sight. He said anything that get his chickens, like he wouldn't buy a white chicken because he said it was too easy for the owls to see them. So hopefully, guys, through our program, that's another big thing about our program, not only get these animals back in the wild, but it's to bridge that education gap. These old ways of thinking about these animals has to be left behind. We have to start looking to the future. Thank y'all so much.